The Locker Room, with all the sports news you need, live.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Locker Room for a very special Saturday show. Why is it special? Well, because very shortly we will find out who Scotland will be playing at the Euro 2024. The draw is getting made later on today. Should be probably about 5:15, but we don't know that for European draws these things tend to take a long time. My name is Graham Duffy, and I'll be taking you through the draw, which I've got on my phone just now, as always. Hoping to be joined very shortly by Hazel Gilder from the Tartan Army magazine, and Regan Stevenson as well to help me go through this draw. We are here till 7 o'clock. Good evening to our regular contributor, Gregor. I think you'll be happy today because if I'm right, I think you beat Motherwell by 3-2. A brilliant win for Dundee. Hearts have beaten Kilmarnock 1-0, which I've just watched. Not the best of games, I'm going to be honest, but it doesn't matter. It's 3 points, which is massive. So yeah, I'm genuinely excited for this draw. I'm buzzing for it. Scotland at a Euros is fantastic, and I cannot wait for this draw to get made. So if I look at the pots just now, there's 4 pots. So the way it's going to work at the moment is, obviously when the draws get made, there will be 6 pots with 4 teams in it, and it's the top 2 teams that qualify, and plus the 4 of the third best place runners-up will go through as well. So Scotland have got a decent chance to qualify no matter who they get in these groups. But if we go... Gregor says it was 3-3. I must have missed the goal at the end there. If I go through the pots as they are just now, so pot 1 is Germany, Portugal, France, Spain, Belgium and England. Could we get England? Pot 2 is Hungary, Turkey, Romania, Denmark, Albania and Austria. Pot 3, which is Scotland's group, is Holland, Scotland, Croatia, Slovenia, Czech Republic and Slovakia. And pot 4, and it sounds mental to say this, but Italy, who are the holders, are in pot 4, which sounds crazy to say that. Also Serbia and Switzerland. And then it's the playoff winner A, playoff winner B and playoff winner C. Now looking at those pots, I had a look at it earlier on, and I'm probably looking at really pot C as the one I want, because from there it's Georgia v Luxembourg and Greece v Kazakhstan. So you're looking really at somebody from one of those groups that would want to play in that pot 4. But again, there's no easy games in there. Now, I'm sure that every Scotland fan's done this because I've done it myself. You go through every single scenario and think, what's the best draw? What's the worst draw? How long till the draw? Well, I think it's about 5:15 that the draw is actually getting made, I think. I'm not sure about that, but I think anyway. But I will keep it to date as soon as the draw is made and then get reaction to it after it. But I was kind of looking at the scenario of what I think might be the best draw for Scotland and what might be the worst case scenario. Now, I think for me, probably the best case scenario, I think, is Germany, who are the hosts, but they're not that good a side just now. This is not a Germany team that I look at and I fear. They don't have a lot of real quality in that team, and they've lost a lot of games this year. So I genuinely think that could be a decent draw for us. Albania, I would take from pot 2. Again, I don't think they're a brilliant side, and I think Scotland could easily beat them. And then, as I say, from pot 4, I'm probably looking at Greece potentially for that, because looking at the draw, Georgia, Luxembourg, Greece, Kazakhstan, I think Greece will beat Kazakhstan and then probably beat Georgia. So I'm looking at that as probably the best case scenario. The worst case scenario, I think, is probably France from pot 1. Then I'm looking at pot 2 and thinking probably Hungary. If I look at then pot 4, It's got to be Italy. You don't want Italy from that group. And like I said, and I am joined by Hazel Gilder from the famous Tartan Army magazine. Hazel, how are you doing? Hazel, can you hear me?
Just about, yeah. Sorry, it's kind of...
No, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
Like a bit like a dialect. I don't know if it's a problem at my... It's really slow. Yeah, sorry.
No, don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry.
Having a bit of a night. I had to restart my PC. Normally it works fine and at the time what you want it. So I'm not live. I can't see the draw. I'm just trying to get it on my phone now. I was trying to do a million one things at one time, as you can imagine. And as a woman, I should be able to multitask.
Oh, no.
It's doing weird stuff.
Well, as long as you can hear me, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, it was a little bit it was going a bit funny. So yeah, apologies.
As long, no, it's all right. As long as you can hear me. I'm just looking at. I'm sure that you've done the same as well. Oh, there we go. I can see you now. I've got you.
Hi. As long
So,
as nobody can see me, because I
hello. So, so I'm sure that you've done the same as what I've done, and every Scotland fan's done. You've looked at the best and worst case scenario. What for you from these pots is going to be the best case for Scotland, and what's going to be the worst?
I don't want England, obviously, from pot one. We've had England I don't know how many times in tournaments, and I'd like a bit of a break if I'm honest. So from pot one, I did actually say Germany because I would actually like to see us start opening up the campaign, being on the world stage, as it were, playing Germany in the first game. That for me would be a fantastic thing for Scotland. I think, if nothing else, it would raise our game. You know as well as I do, we always raise our game against the bigger nations. The worst case scenario for me, I think, would be France. We definitely don't want France. We've obviously played them sort of back in October, and okay, but it was a B team that we put out, but with the likes of Giroud and Mbappe, who's notched up 7 goals. For Le Bleu, we don't want that. What do? Turkey can be an issue. They are a really good side, well organised. Look at how we sort of performed against them last November, where they beat us 2-1, I think, last November. So I would like to see either the likes of Romania or Albania. Denmark are a really good side, as we've seen before, but then yet again we can do well. We've beaten them 2-0 at home a couple of years back. So, and then obviously it's the knowns and unknowns for top 4. I don't personally want Italy. I have spoken to a few Italians this week in the office, and they said they haven't been playing so well. But Switzerland are very good. Amdouni, I think his name is Zideki Amdouni. He's notched up 6 goals in this tournament. So Switzerland are a really good side. So I kind of prefer to sort of avoid them, as it were. And Serbia, well, there's all these potential banana skins, aren't there, in pot 4? So, so for me, I would like, if it's preference, I would probably would like to either have Germany, and then possibly Romania, Albania from pot 2, and maybe the likes of maybe Serbia or whoever we're going to end up with on the playoffs, which I was looking at, somebody like Iceland or Estonia, maybe Kazakhstan. We don't want Georgia again because we know how good they are. They are a really good side, and with the Cavadona that scored against us a couple of weeks ago, we don't want Georgia again, in my view. What about yourself? Can you hear me all right, Graham?
I was saying just before you came on air, I was looking through it, and I can hear you. So just before you came on air, I was basically saying that I think for me, the best case scenario, I actually think I would take Germany because I don't think they're that good. I know they're the host nation, but I don't think they're that good. They've not been that impressive. So from pot 1, I'd be taking Germany. From pot 2, I think for me, I'm taking Albania. Again, I don't think Albania a particularly great side. And I certainly from pot 4 don't want Italy. No, I think it's crazy. It's crazy the fact that Italy, the holders, are in pot 4. But that for me is that for me would be the worst case scenario is getting them. And I think the worst case scenario for me would be France. Definitely, I don't want them. Hungary, a good side.
No.
They've got some decent players. They've got Szoboszlai that plays for Liverpool,
Yeah.
a really good player. And Italy, again, you really don't want them. So that's probably the worst case. But, I mean, how good does it feel, though, Hazel, to be sitting here talking about Scotland at a Euro draw? It feels amazing.
Listen, you know, the first, the first time, when we obviously during lockdown, which was a terrible time, for globally, but I think for all of us, sitting at home watching us kind of eat through, you know, against the Israels, and then finally getting to into obviously Belgrade for that game, and the Serbia, at that point, you know, we went up 1-0 up after that beautiful Ryan Christie goal. And then, as the usual Scotland way, isn't it? The last few minutes, they score, and you just think, here we are again. It's the nightmare of Scotland, isn't it? We just make life so difficult. And this year, we just, back in March, when I turned up to Hampden to kind of watch us against Cyprus, it was I think we took a lot of confidence from the games in September. I covered all the games home and away, and so I did 3 games in September, which was quite tiring last year. But I think we took that confidence, and Steve Clark built on that with John Carver. Then they sort of got the squad together and kind of went, right, we need to start like this. We need to start really well, and we need to be out of the stalls quickly, scoring goals, winning our games. But that one against Spain, I mean, I was there, and I thought I was going to be St John's ambulance in that game. To go 1-0 up in 6 minutes and then 2-0 up, it was incredible, for me. And it was, just to, I mean, we almost got a third goal, or fourth goal even, with Ryan Christie missing, and Lyndon Dykes. Shankland almost got one in the final deathly minutes. So, yeah, I mean, this year has been fantastic. But I don't know about you, I think I was in Oslo for the Norway game, and I knew that was the crunch game. If we won that game, I was absolutely booking my tickets. I was going to Germany, because I thought that you need to be winning this. And we went 1-0 down with Haaland, and believe me, I was right behind the goal, and believe me, it was a wing, one of his mates, and he went sort of bundling down. We all know everybody bounces off of Haaland. He just goes in and strikes and scores. So for me, it was a very, very poor penalty. But anyway, it is what it is. But we did the most amazing thing in the last 5 minutes, and that is the Scott again. And I thought, yeah, we're going to Germany. I said it to my mate who was standing to my right once we were almost expiring in the heat of the sun that day, that I said, we are going to go to Germany now. I'm convinced that that's it. So I'm now going to start looking at flights, accommodation. But yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to be sitting. And actually, it was lovely. And thanks to Spain, I think they owed us a bit of a favour, didn't they, after the McTominay disallowed goal, that, they did us a favour and beat Norway. And I'd like to have done it myself. Personally, I'd have liked Scotland to have done the qualification themselves. But look,
Yeah.
I saw the last 2 games. I was in Georgia, and quite honestly, I'll take a handout from Spain any day of the week to qualify automatically with 2 games in hand. I don't think we've ever done that from memory. I know we automatically qualified back in France in '98. I can just about remember that. But that we're talking a different lifetime. When we were all young, and could just about remember it. But it's wonderful to be sitting right now, and I've booked my accommodation. I've booked my Euro tunnel. I'm driving actually to Germany, so and my dad's joining me for the second and third game. It's going to be a sort of dad-daughter kind of last hurrah of, well, listen, we've waited for so long to go somewhere. We might as well do it together and enjoy ourselves, So, so we're basing ourselves out of Cologne because we thought that was a good sort of place just inside the sort of border, and it has extremely great transport links. So I intend to leave the car at the Airbnb, but I do not intend to be driving around to all of the games, that's for sure. I will definitely be joining in as I always do. As a roving reporter, you have to have some sensible head because you've got to remember the game. Because if you come back and you can't remember what actually happened, it's a bit more difficult to write up. As Mikey will probably tell you, but you certainly enjoyed the lead up to the matches, and then sort of post, you feel a bit depressed. I actually feel a bit deflated. I can't believe it's not even 2 weeks almost since the last game, and I feel kind of depressed already. That it's over because it's been such a great year. But yeah, I'm super stoked, and I'm delighted that my boss has signed off my holiday, which he told me on Thursday night, which I thought, thank goodness for that, because I'm already booked to go. Well, what about yourself?
Yeah, it's funny because after every Scotland game, we do this show, and I actually said when we came on after that Norway Scotland game, when Scotland won that 2-1, I actually said, get the tickets booked because we're going. That was a game that I thought we've qualified, and I've got no doubt about that. It was an unbelievable victory because, let's be honest, for most of that game we were really poor. We were miles off it, and I couldn't see where we were going to score. And then obviously Lyndon Dykes gets the goal, McLean scores the other one, and at that point I thought we're going. We're qualifying, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
And then you look at that Spain game at home as well.
And I was the same.
We were outstanding that night, and to hear Rodri after the game, basically in tears.
Yeah, it was. I was at the hospitality that night, which was quite nice. I actually got a bit drunk with Alan Roth, and I was feeling rough the next day. And I bumped into Ryan Christie in the lounge on the way back from down to England, and I had my baseball cap, my Scotland baseball cap, and sunglasses on, and he kind of went, "All right," and I was like, "Yeah, all right." And then we had a bit of a chat. Obviously I was kind of just have you of the dog, that'll sort you out. So, but no, it was great, and I was what an amazing night, celebrating and but you're never sure at that point, we obviously, and what shocked me even more, which and Mikey will tell you that I always have a bit of a, and there's nothing personal against this guy, but Grant Hanley and I've got quite a strong view about Grant, as does many Tottenham supporter about Grant Hanley, that he's not always the fastest, and somebody quoted once that he, a donkey with sciatica could probably get out the balls quicker than Grant. But he played magnificently. He played absolutely magnificently that night, and against Spain, and it was, and you could tell that obviously Angus Gunn and him are, teammates, because they didn't even need to talk to each other. They were just gelling together as they would do at Norwich. So, whether that instilled confidence in that Grant, that the guy behind them he plays every week with, I don't know. It was kind of, but I kind of pinched myself, but it wasn't. But it was obviously twice, and then, was it a fluke? And sadly, he got his Achilles rupture, and we don't know, how that's going to impact him coming back next year. But I'm sure he'll be back. I'm sure he'll be back in the squad. But I've always kind of said, that he's kind of, we'll see how things go. But yeah, I'm excited. Just like, it's all I've talked about. Oh wait, we've got a few Scotland fans in the firm that I work for in London, and the chatter around the coffee area about Germany and who's going, who's booking, etc. is great. You're just super excited. But this is the thing about today, about who we're going to get, who are we going to be drawn against, and everybody's saying, please, let's not make it England, because they are playing pretty well at the moment. Let's be honest, and you know, it's what I'll say about the English fans. They don't always get on so well with the Scots. They say they got on great with us. I've lived down south for 20 years, and they're okay, but they've got quite strong views about the Scots and about our footballing skills. But this year they've got a bit quieter, which is quite nice. And I reminded somebody the other day at a meeting, yeah, didn't we leapfrog you last September and you went down and we went up, into League A, which it kind of shut up at that point. So, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, I'm just desperate to, because the draw started at 5 o'clock, didn't it?
I think it's quarter. I think it was due quarter past. I think it started at, but it does take ages for these draws to kind of to actually happen.
Well, it's like the bit of like the Eurovision, isn't it? The Eurovision, you spend 4 hours going around each of the different countries, the points, etc. But yeah, certainly for me, I mean, the Netherlands, I'm glad. I don't know about you, but pot three, the Croatias and the Czech Republics were the ones that we got last time, and I'm so glad they're in our pot this time, and the Netherlands, because the Netherlands, they're fantastic. Like, both from the men's and the women's perspective, they're a great nation of footballers, and I would want to face off them. I know we've done it before, haven't we? But I think that was more of a fluke than a kind of, we will beat the Netherlands. So I'm glad that they're in the pot with us. And I say Modric I thought he might retire after the World Cup, but I was told by Croatian that I kind of speak to quite a few of them. When you work in London, you work in a melting pot of people, so it's quite nice when you can talk to different nationalities and get their views on their country. But Modric's making yet another appearance in 2024, so and we know that obviously he ran rings around Grant Hanley at the back. See, I'm mentioning him again, but I was sitting right down the front because obviously it was COVID and there was nobody around us. And I was shouting at Grant, and I think he heard me because it was like being at a kind of Vauxhall conference kind of game, because there was hardly anybody there at that point. So and I was shouting at Grant Hanley for being so slow that Modric just ran rings around him. So I'm glad they're in our pot and we don't have to worry about that. Sorry, my PC's going up with you. Anyway, so yeah, so no.
It's funny because see if you.
Can you hear me all right, Graham?
See if you look at, I was looking at it earlier on, and the top two teams go through from each group, but also so do four of the best placed teams. Scotland have got a very good chance to go through no matter what pot they're in. Even if they can finish third but on a decent points, they actually have a decent chance.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I did click with my boss on Thursday night and said, look, should Scotland, and I'm ever the optimist, should Scotland get through the group stages and actually, I've never said this before, I've never committed this before, but because we've played so well this year, I said I can actually see us getting at the group stages. It obviously depends on who we get, but I think if we've got a really good side, I think if we've got a full squad, as we have done all year, all the injuries are done and dusted, and we've got the sort of selection is 20. Is it 23 players that Steve Clarke can take with him? From memory, I think it's 23 that he will pick. 23 players that can pack their bags and get on the plane to Deutschland. so long as none of them are obviously got injuries, etc., I think we have got a great chance to win our games and get out. And as I said, the bigger teams we do well, we do raise our game. You know, people laugh at this, but I'm okay. England was just a friendly, um, and that's why I don't really want England again, because we want to see how well we do in terms of other countries, other nations, rather than just the same old people that we keep getting rumbled in together with. So I'd like to see us, as you say, like against the Germanys, um, and Belgium. You know, they're okay. I mean, like Lukaku had an injury; he wasn't at the World Cup from memory. I think he did make it, but obviously he's back again and he's quite dangerous. But for them, they're not such a threat. I think. Obviously, we've got De Bruyne. But De Bruyne is actually one of my favourite players. I think he's a great player. Um, so he can be quite dangerous as well. But then that's kind of only kind of two players I can think of from Belgium that would give us any headaches. The biggest challenge I think for us would, imagine if we got Spain again. That kind of played on my mind last night. I was in bed thinking, what happens if we're drawn against Spain? You know, it is almost kind of like, you know, Latinos versus the Scots again, and you know there'll be a fight on the park pretty much to kind of, you know, with elbows about who's going to, you know, dominate, you know, that particular game, especially to after the two games that we had against them this year. But like, you know, um, I think we were unlucky in Seville. That beautiful Scott McTominay goal. Do you know what? In all the time, I know the Fadi goal was one that everybody talks about, and even though that Scott McTominay goal was disallowed, to curl that in from from where he was, you know, standing, it was incredible. I mean, to actually pinpoint it and curl it in, and Simone didn't have. I mean, they kept saying, "Well, Simone was impeded by Jack Hendry." He did move, Simone. He did move, and I think he was predicting that the ball was going somewhere else. I know we could debate the Scott McTominay disallowed goal like until the cows come home, but it's just the beautiful, you know, training ground thing that they must have been working on. But to actually pinpoint it and actually to go in, it was a top drawer goal in my view. And I think it's one of the best I've seen in a long time. I don't know what you think yourself.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Gregor points out in the comments, and I did notice this as well, actually. Wales could still qualify by winning in Path A. So a group of potentially England, Scotland, and Wales is possible. I don't think I could handle that, to be honest.
Yeah, Wales. I mean, we obviously, you know, Gareth Bale is he'll be playing again. You know, or has he retired? I thought he was going to come out of retirement for this, but I might be wrong. I don't think Gareth Bale is playing again, is he? I think he's given up now for Wales.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah.
So, and he was always the threat, wasn't he? So, you know, I think he's sticking to his golf now, and I don't think we have to worry about Bale. I'm personally not worried about Wales if we get Wales. But you know, we could end up with Ukraine again. You know, that's another. I'm you know, we've seen a lot of Ukraine as we saw last year, and that horrible, you know, dream that we had, which depressed the Scotland fan. I've never been so depressed in all my life leaving a game, that we just threw away that game against Ukraine and let them run all over us. But you know, that's football and that's Scotland, isn't it? You know, we do all the hard work. We get to the second last game before, you know, the World Cup, and then we throw it all away. So Finland, I don't know about them. You know, I don't know if they're a good side or not. I kind of haven't seen too much of them. Estonia, Poland. You know, Robert Lewandowski is still. He's a brilliant player. As we saw him playing against us in March last year. So Poland are a strong side, really strong side. So I would be a bit nervy, if I could say that, if we got Poland, because they are the stronger, I think, out of all of that kind of, these different kind of pathways that we're looking at the moment. Israel, gosh, we could go there again, couldn't we? For 2021, we kept getting Israel, didn't we? And it was just like, every other game was Israel. But, hopefully we can avoid them as well. Bosnia Herzegovina, I don't know much about them as a footballing nation. Who knows? Do you know much about? I haven't really sort of read that they are good or bad or indifferent. But Kazakhstan, I'm sure we went to Kazakhstan and got beat by them. I think that was the depressing years, as we call them, the years that we would like to erase from our memory. I think a lot of people. I did go to that game, but many people travelled to that game, and I think we got beat, didn't we? Which was embarrassing. And then there's Greece as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Greece won the Euros. I remember I was actually, I was in the Adriatic. I was in the Adriatic Sea. I was on a small kind of yacht. We were sailing down Croatia, down the Adriatic, and we stopped off, and they were playing Greece. I think it was Greece. I think we were in a Greek restaurant somewhere, and it was absolutely crazy. It was mental. And so they can be a good side, but again, I don't know any particular players from Greece off the top of my head that would give us any concern. Maybe it would be quite good to get Luxembourg, because I don't think they do particularly well. So yeah, but Iceland, I mean, I do like their.
So at the moment they're just going through. At the moment they're just what I'm watching.
I've lost you.
I'm just watching now. They're just basically again going through all the teams that are in it. They're actually now picking. Eventually, they're picking the first balls for the group for the pot 1 seeds, which is obviously Germany, Portugal, France, Spain, Belgium, and England. So first out the hat at the moment is Spain. So automatically, pot 1 goes Germany, and then we have to find out where Spain are going to go. But see, just talk about, you obviously said earlier on that 23-man squad. Now, anyone that watches this show knows that I'm a massive Hearts fan. If you're Steve Clarke, is Lawrence Shankland on that plane to the Euros?
Well, I've done a lot of analysis. As you know, I'm quite a busy person today. And, I tell you what, I've been scratching my head a little bit in terms of why Lawrence Shankland, he has notched up 24 goals last season for Hearts. 24 goals, I think it was. And I've been saying for the last 2 years, why is Shankland not in the squad? What is it about Shankland that doesn't fit with Steve Clarke's plans? Surely if you're Scottish, you're playing in Scotland, you're scoring pretty much every week. 24 goals in one season. Give the guy a break. Give the guy, a chance. Bring him on. Get him in around. Get him training with the squad. So I was kind of frustrated with Steve Clarke in that. Why was he still going back to the usual, the Dicey's and the Che Adams? Because they do blow hot cold. These guys, They don't always score goals every time they play. And then you've got Lawrence Shankland there waiting. And I just kept thinking, why are we not giving this guy a game? And I was talking to my dad about it every game, like, why is Shankland not in the squad? Why is he not in the squad? He's like, I don't know. Really don't know. So it's a bit of a head scratcher, that one, on Lawrence Shankland, given that he's had, even when he was only had, I think, back the year before last, he only played about 14 matches, but I think he scored about 9 goals across those matches. Yet last season he had a full season and then he scored 24 goals. But he's only bringing Franklin on as a kind of late stuff. And I was in Tbilisi a couple of weeks ago, and I'm shouting, going, why are we not? Why are we bringing Shankland on? At the very end, he should be on from the start or at least at half time. And then he goes and he scores. And I was like, but this is the whole point why we should have these players in the squad. Like 2 years ago, so that they're used to playing with other players. Because most of the players that we have at the moment play in the EPL. I know we've got likes of Cal Mack, and Craig Gordon before he had his awful double leg fracture. But these are the only guys that really are playing in SPL. The rest are all in the EPL. So you want to try and get the likes of Shankland in so that he's kind of used to playing with guys that he doesn't normally play against week in, week out. So maybe you've got a better understanding about why you think Steve Clarke did bring Shankland in a couple of years ago.
It's a tough one because I'm a massive Shankland fan, and I think it's not just the goals he brings. His link-up play, his all-round game is actually very impressive. So I've been calling for him to be in the squad for ages. And then, obviously, when Che Adams couldn't play this last couple of games, Shankland comes in. And I couldn't understand why he didn't come off the bench earlier against Georgia. Obviously, then he scores. And in the last game at home to Norway, I'm thinking, why are you starting Jacob Brown? You've got Shankland that scored in the last game. Why are you not starting him? And I think for me, at the moment, I think watching that game against Norway, I think Jacob Brown played himself out of contention for the Euros because I didn't think he was very good at all that night.
It's funny you should say that because I live obviously in Cambridge, but I quite often go to games around here. So Cambridge United, Luton Town, Stevenage, and I've watched Jacob Brown. I've seen him play twice at Luton Town, and what I see from him is a hesitancy to go for the ball. Dykesy, we're used to this. Dykesy is Dykesy, right? And he's the man, the tattooed man from Brazil, isn't he? And he's not scared to go in for tackles or he goes in and even because you just never know. You might just pick up a ball or you keep pressuring the defence. You maybe win that ball and start a bit of a run on it. I don't know if it's his age because he's quite young, but he's very hesitant not to go in for a tackle, not to keep up there with the rest of the defence, to try and keep badgering them, because the more you do that, somebody's going to make a mistake along the way. And I was really frustrated, again sitting there watching Jacob Brown play on against Norway. And I wanted him to do well because we've seen him so many times. I've seen him more times on the touchline running up and down in front of me than I have on the park, and I'm thinking at some stage he should start and we've got to see what he's made of. But for me, could London take him under his wing and say to him, look, you're going to have to stop being so frightened, just get in there and get around people, I don't know if it's an age thing where he's still very green and he's not comfortable, but then he plays like that Luton Town. He is not so confident about getting in there. I think he's kind of looking around for people to feed him the ball. And as you very well know, if you play for Scotland, everyone's got to, I've seen Callum McGregor run from scoring a goal to running back and putting goals off our own line. So that's what, even though he's a midfielder, I've seen him up, scoring goals, and then suddenly he's down the goal mouth, clearing a goal away from somebody that's just about to score. So you have to be an all-rounder kind of player. And for Jacob, for me, I just think his lack of goals attempt and he's shying away all the time. I'm just wondering, what is it that he needs? If he's not if he's not confident, doesn't need more game time for Scotland, I don't think the Euros is for him. If I'm honest, if I'm going to be, but then who else do we put on that plane then? You know, but I just don't think Jacob Brown is there yet. Billy Gilmore has proved himself. I have been a massive fan of Billy Gilmore. I just said that he just needed to stop being alone. He just needed, to get a contract, get somebody, a good mentor, and be playing along class players. He was playing alongside McAllister, for an Argentinian World Cup, winner. And when you're playing alongside somebody like that, you're going to learn from the best, aren't you? So I've seen a massive improvement since Billy Gilmore's been at Brighton. And now he's in the team every single week, and he's creating chances like you wouldn't believe. So he's come on leaps and bounds, certainly since he's been at Brighton. But that's all he needed. But I always thought he had it in him, and that goal against France, although it was a friendly, he like 7-8 minutes in, he scored. It was a beautiful goal. So I think Jacob Brown's time is limited with Scotland. I just don't think he has it. Billy Gilmore always did. He just needed somebody to take him under his wing, get a contract, and build on it, what skills he had. And he had great skills. He was just a young guy. He was only 18, 19, I just don't. Jacob Brown, between Billy Gilmore and Jacob Brown is just isn't, just doesn't have it, in my view. And I don't think he should be on the plane. We've talked about Harvey Barnes in the past. I don't know what you think about Harvey Barnes. He's at Newcastle United. He could potentially do a switch, he's got kind of, I think, sort of Scottish grandparents or whatever, but he can do a bit of a switch from England to Scotland. He does have a serious football injury, a foot injury, at Newcastle at the moment. So, he could be called up. But again, we haven't done anything. And, I don't know whether that's because he hasn't wanted to come to Scotland or he's still waiting for Southgate to give him a win. You still there, Graham?
Hazel, I can tell you Scotland are out of the draw, and we are in a group with Germany and Hungary. So it will be Germany, Hungary, and Scotland so far. What do you make of that? That's breaking news. Right. Germany, Hungary, and Scotland.
Germany, I did say it. I said it right at the very start. I would have loved to have. So I am absolutely delighted. So that means that, hopefully that looks like we might get the first kind of game. Hungary, I'm worried about that. I'll be honest.
We are. It's Germany, Scotland first. It's Germany, Scotland first game.
Right, brilliant.
Scotland are kicking off the Euros against Germany. Germany, Scotland first game.
Right. Well, I said it. I've been saying it on social media for about a week and a half. I said. So somebody must have been listening to me upstairs, because I said if we could get this, it would show it off. I'm super stoked about that, because I think if we can start off, go out like we did in March and show the world that we are no longer the Scotland of 20 years ago. We mean business now. So I'm super stoked about that. I'm even super. And I'm going to be a bit cheeky here and say this, but I was up till quite late, and I went for the hospitality package this morning. I've been deliberating about it for months, about whether I would buy the hospitality package or not. And I was like, do you know what? If we get Germany in the first game, that could be an absolute blast. And I think it was at 2 a.m. this morning. I went into my savings and I went, right, okay, that's it. I'm committing myself to buy the package. I was like, I don't know, in my head, I just think we're going to get Germany in the first game. Call me, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit of a psychic somewhere in my DNA as a football pundit, but yeah, that's brilliant. I'm so excited. And I'm glad I booked it at 2 a.m. even though I was knackered. Going, this is a lot of money, but you know what? This is brilliant. But Hungary, look at what they did with England. I mean, that was embarrassment for England, wasn't it, last year? I mean, what was it, 5? I mean, was it 5-0
Yeah.
or something? Was it 5-0? I can't remember. I think I was in Poland for the Ukraine game. I'm sure it was that game, or it was one of the games I watched, and it was dreadful. England were absolutely run ragged, and Hungary were really strong. But there again, look what we've done. Spain, Norway, you know, we've run people off the park this year. So I'm confident. Maybe I should. I'm not the typical pessimistic Scot. I think but yeah, no, I'm delighted. That's brilliant. And that'll be a brilliant game, Hungary. But that's going to be a real challenge. I think more. I think than Germany, because the Germans will know they'll be watching us. As we get better and better. But it's just about who we can match up against. But that's really exciting. What do you think of it?
I said at the start that Germany, I don't think they're a great side, and I would quite happily have Germany. And the fact we've got them, and the fact it's the opening game, it's fantastic. And as Paul Donaldson says in the group chat, memories of 1998 when we were the opening match in the World Cup. It's exciting. It generally is fantastic. I think Hungary will be a difficult game. As I said, Szoboszlai's done very well for Liverpool. It's a difficult game. We now have to wait and see who we're going to get in the top
Yeah.
4. But I think that's a decent draw. I think that's a group that Scotland can get out of.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. Absolutely. As I say, if it'd been the old Germany, then I would have been sitting here thinking, "Oh, that's just your worst nightmare." But look at the World Cup, how badly they performed. People were shocked at how bad they were. At the World Cup, and they were just they're for the taking, as we see in Scotland, don't we? Because they just didn't really perform. Whether or not they'll bring in new players between now and then. Who knows? You just don't know what they've got up their sleeve. But no, that's exciting, and I'm smiling because I just think that was even if we do get beat, it's just a great way to start our campaign.
Hazel, our group is complete. We are going to be playing Switzerland.
Oh, no,
so
right.
So Scotland's group is Germany, Hungary, and Switzerland.
Right. Switzerland was the one I was worried about. As I said to you, I didn't particularly feel happy about getting Switzerland. I said to you, Italy and Switzerland were the thing I was a bit worried about with Zeki Amdouni, who's notched up 6 goals. Switzerland are a very strong side. They'll not be a pushover, believe you me. But look, we are a different team now. We are not the team of 20 years or 15 years ago. Look at all of our players that we have now. So I'm happy. I think with that, because at least we know now. Whereas I think what we can do now is start to plan, because if you had got say, for instance, the playoff winner from A, B, or C, Steve Clarke can't do anything for that third team. He can't plan. He can't watch, endless amounts of YouTube and go sneakily to kind of games, etc., and watch different players, etc., who play for Switzerland, or so it's much more difficult to kind of preempt about who you might get if you don't know who the playoff winner is. So I think he has plenty of time now between now and the summer to kind of, he now knows who he's got. It'll be interesting to see his reaction. We know Steve Clarke doesn't He's got quite a pan face, so he'll give nothing away probably. Knowing Steve, he'll be sitting there, with the same face. But we'll have to wait and see, I think. But yeah, no, it's England are grouped with Denmark, Slovenia, and Serbia, so that's quite interesting. From what I just saw there, but yeah, they're grouped with Denmark, so I think they might struggle as well. But yeah, no, that's great. I'm delighted. I'm really pleased that that's how we've been drawn, and yeah, we've got every chance of being successful. I think in doing the best that we can and doing our full homework between now and as I say next summer. So yeah, so yes, I'm sure there'll be many fans now desperately booking tickets. People I think were kind of trying to hang off a little bit. I think to try and not book tickets, but at least sort of work out who we're going to get in the draw. Will I want to go if it's a rubbish group? Will I part with my hard-earned dosh, to be at the game or to be in Germany next year? So I think with that now, everything's going to be booked up now. Are you going yourself to Germany, Graham?
No, I honestly would love to, but I'll probably watch it at home. But I'm so excited now that the draw's made. I'm genuinely buzzing for this now. I can't wait. I would love to be going. I'd love to do a show from Germany. I wish I could, but unfortunately, I'll be watching it at home.
That's a shame. Well, I'll certainly be shouting for both of us. Don't worry about that. As I say, I'll have to make sure my dad gets tickets for the Hungary and Switzerland game. That will be a fantastic couple of games, but certainly the Germany one. He unfortunately can't make it across. He's actually he's busy. He said, I won't make the first game, and I was like, well, I think you're nuts because I honestly think we might get drawn against Germany. And he said to me last weekend, "You're crazy. Why would we get drawn? We're not going to get drawn against Germany for the opening game." And I just said, I have a feeling we will. I don't know why. I just think we will. And I was right. Predictions. But then I've been watching Scotland for 36 years now, so that's. I think you just know deep down sometimes about your fate. I think really. But it'll be an interesting thing for me to be going back to Germany because I went to Germany with my parents back in 1990, and it was during Italia 90. And Scotland, as usual, went out by the time we went to Germany. And my dad took us because he wanted to the Berlin Wall had come down, and I wanted to go to Ibiza with my friends. And he was like, no, we're going to Germany because it's West Germany because it's important for history. And we joined in. We went to Alexanderplatz in Berlin and watched the semi-final with Germany and England. And the Germans couldn't understand why we sang Deutschland über alles with them, even because we were Scottish, and they thought we would be supporting England. And I learned obviously German at school, so I'm still at school at the time, and therefore I knew most of the words. And the Germans were kind of a bit perplexed, and I said it's ABE for us in Scotland, and when they said "Was ist das?" and I said anyone but England, and they were like, and then they suddenly realised that there's this real kind of the old enemy, and they were delighted. They swept us up, and and then obviously we watched the semi-final, and we saw Gaza getting booked and all the rest of it, and the penalties, and and my poor mother was sitting in she was sitting in the car at the time, reading a library book, whilst my brother and my dad and I watched this on this massive screen, and these fireworks were getting set off, and every so often parts of the screen were being obliterated by these fireworks that suddenly the unification of Germany had happened, and now they were going to the final. And we went back. We went back to watch the final. With who was it? It was Argentina, I think, in that game in Italia '90. I'm trying to think now who that was. That's terrible. I should know who that was. Italia '90. Who was in the final again? I can't remember now. It's so long ago. Anyway, Germany won it, and the whole of Berlin was just in party mode. We did sleep a wink that night because, of course, people were just going berserk all night and tooting our horns, etc. So, but anyways, I'm going to have to go now, Graham. Gonna have to jump off now, Graham.
No problem. Thank you very much for joining me. Much
Thank
appreciated.
you. Yeah, and
no worries. That's fine.
I'm delighted that's.
Thank you, Hazel.
Yes, take care, and I'll speak to you again at some point, no doubt, Graham.
No problem. Speak to you later, Hazel. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Bye.
See you later. Draw for Euro 2024. And to answer Mikey Charles' question, who did we get? We got Germany, Hungary, and Switzerland, which means Scotland will be opening Euro 2024. We will be playing Germany in the opening game, which is going to be brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The other games, the other draws, I should say. So Group A, for anyone that's not seen it, Group A is Germany, Hungary, Scotland, and Switzerland. Group B is Spain, Albania, Croatia, and Italy, which is a really, really difficult group. Group C is England, Denmark, Slovenia, and Serbia. Group D is France, Austria, Holland, and the playoff winner A, which could potentially be Wales. Never know. Group E is Belgium, Romania, Slovakia, and the playoff winner from Group B. And Group F is Portugal, Turkey, Czech Republic, and playoff winner Group C. So I said before, I came on air earlier on, I did say what my potential decent draw would look like. And Germany was one of them. And I also had Albania and Greece. Now we've got Germany, but we've ended up getting Hungary, who's a difficult team. Hungary are a good side. They've got a lot of pace going forward. I've mentioned Szoboszlai that plays for Liverpool. That's a difficult draw. Switzerland, we know, have done well at Euros before and World Cups. They've got a couple of really good players in that team. It's a difficult draw, but it's a draw that I think Scotland can get out of. I genuinely think Scotland can get out of that group. Now, you've got to imagine that Germany will win it, being at home. But I don't think Germany are that good a side. I've watched them a few times this year, and they lose a lot of games. They don't have a lot of quality. They're not a Germany side that I look at and think, that's a good side. You know, they've got Kai Havertz that's at Arsenal, who's not really been pulling up any trees. Timo Werner, who was obviously at Chelsea as well, who's not been overly impressive. So I think it gives Scotland a chance to get through this group. And Germany are under pressure here. As the host, Germany are under pressure to get out of this group and win it comfortably. And to win the tournament as well. I don't think they will. Now, as I said, looking at the rest of those groups, I'm glad I'm not in Group D. France, Austria, Holland. That would be a tough draw. That I know that we were in pot 3, but getting France and Austria would have been hard. But I think it's a decent draw. I genuinely do. Gregor McIntosh says, can't wait for it. And this is the thing. You know, we've now got ages to wait, but there'll be folk clamoring to get tickets. It's exciting. You know, we're opening the Euros, which is really exciting. I can't wait for this. I'm just trying to see what else is. So, I'm trying to see when the games are, actually. I don't know if it tells me when. I think it's the 14th of July. Is it 14th of June, 14th of July the Euros actually kicks off? But honestly, I'm really pleased with that. Really pleased with that. I think Scotland's got a great opportunity to get through this group. What's everyone else thinking? What's your thoughts on that draw? Are you happy with it? Are you not really that keen on it? I think it's really good. Just let me go back to some of the comments up here as well. So let me see what we've got here. I'll just try to see some of the comments. So, second match of Scotland v Switzerland and Cologne. We play in Munich, Cologne, and Stuttgart. three really good cities as well. You know, the Scotland fans will be buzzing for this, genuinely buzzing for it. I think it's going to be fantastic. I really do. No surprise people saying it's a favour we're off for England because they always get decent draws. But honestly, for Scotland, I'm delighted with it. I'm just trying to look as well at some of the other groups as well that I mentioned there. But where's the one that I was thinking was a really tough group? Yeah, see, Group B: Spain, Albania, Croatia, and Italy. That's the group of death for me. Spain, Croatia, and Italy. That's a really tough draw. And I think it was Paul Donaldson that put in the chat earlier that he can't believe that the holders, Spain, are in pot 4, Italy are in pot 4. I've said the same thing. It's crazy. It's genuinely crazy that you've got that. But what a draw. What a draw this is for Scotland, honestly. We're going to be opening the Euros. I'm buzzing for it. I honestly think it's a decent draw. Gregor McIntosh says, I'm happy with that. I think Scotland will get through. This is where I am at as well. It gives Scotland a good chance. I think Steve Clarke will be delighted with that draw. Now, as kind of Hazel said there, you never know what Steve Clarke's going to come out with. You never know what he's going to say, but I think he'll be happy with that. I think Scotland players are happy with that. They've got a chance here. We've played top teams in the past. We've played Spain. We've beaten them. We've played Denmark in I think it was a friendly, we beat them. England game, yeah, that was tough. But England, for me, genuinely, I'm going to say this, because there's no English fans watching this. I'm going to say this now. England are not that good without Bellingham. Bellingham's their best player. You take him out of that team, I think England are very average. So I think as well, England will be expected to do well in this tournament. I hope they don't. I hope they fail miserably. But they've got a decent group for me. But that group that Scotland have got, I'm genuinely happy with that. It's a great draw for me. And the fact we're going to be kicking it off, as they mentioned there in the chat, it is 1998 vibes again. Scotland kicking off a World Cup. Scotland kicking off the Euros. Fantastic. What an occasion that'll be. And I don't know if anyone watched it yesterday, but as well, I just want to say about Craig Brown as well. For anyone that didn't watch it yesterday, go back and watch A View from the Terrace, because they did a really good bit in the show yesterday where they had Jock Brown, Craig Brown's brother, on, and he was talking about Craig, and he had kind of an interview with him after a Scotland defeat. I can't remember what game it was, but Jock Brown interviewed Craig Brown, and it was it was quite emotional actually watching it back. And you're thinking what Craig Brown would think of that draw. I think he'd be buzzing for that. But it was really emotional, really well done as well. And at the end, it said, the guy asked Jock Brown what he would say to his brother if he was here, and he basically said, I would say thanks. You know, it was very emotional, but very well done as well. Really moving tribute to Craig Brown. And honestly, it was brilliant. I loved it yesterday. I like A View for the Terrace anyway, but that bit there was really good. But yeah, I genuinely think the draw is fantastic. I'm going to try and see if I can get some other comments on Twitter and stuff about what folk think of the draw, and in the group chats as well. So our esteemed leader of the show, Michael, says that group of death for me is Group B, which is what I've said as well. I think that's a horrendous group, and I'm glad we're not in that. So not a bad group. With Scotland, it's not easy, which is fair point. It's not an easy group, but I think it's a group we can get out of. Let's see some other comments on Twitter here. I'm just trying to get as many comments as I can from what I can see. So Stephen Rayside, as you all know, our colleague on the show, I'm going to see Scotland in Cologne, and we play Germany in the opening, and I'll probably get a ticket. So he's buzzing for that, as he should be. What a game that's going to be. So here's the draw. Here's the fixtures here. So Scotland will play the opening game, obviously, against Germany in Munich on the 14th of June. We will then play Switzerland in Cologne on the 19th of June, and we'll play Hungary in Stuttgart on the 23rd of June. So there's not a lot of time between those ties, but I think it's a favourable draw, I think, for Scotland. I really do believe that. I always think the first game is the important one. If you can get it out of the way and get 3 points on the board straight away, it gives you a great opportunity. If Scotland could win that first game against Germany, what a chance we've got to get through. And like I said to Hazel, it's actually harder not to get through if you think about it, because the top two teams go through. Scotland have got a chance there, but also the 4 of the third best placed teams go through. Scotland have got a chance to qualify from the group for the first time in a long time. What a chance we've got. So if we look at it for example, let's say that Germany top the group, which they probably should. You've got Scotland, Hungary, and Switzerland. Can we beat both those other teams? I think we can. So I think there's a very good chance that Scotland can finish second in this group. But that first game for me is the big one. Win that first game against Germany, you put a statement out there. You put a statement out to say, Scotland aren't here just to make up the numbers. The fans will be loving it. They'll have a party. But we want to actually do well in this competition. And we've got a chance, I think. Paul Donaldson said, I applied for 3 matches in the public ballot for tickets, but unsuccessful in all 3. Just realised that the Scotland-Switzerland match is one of the matches I had applied for. Gutted to have missed out. I think there'll be a few folk in your boat. Get a ticket over there. Maybe not the best thing to do, but you want to be there. You know, as Michael would say, no Scotland, no party. But I genuinely am so excited. I can't wait now. It's a while away now. I'm thinking that Scotland will have games in between this now. Obviously, get ready for them. But if I'm a player looking at that group, I'm thinking, do you know what? Yeah, we've got a chance here. We can qualify. And I genuinely think we can. I mean, like I said, the other groups for me are very, very difficult. I'm glad we're not in Group B because that's a horrendous group. Let's see some of the other comments that might get in here. Also, for anyone that's not been keeping an eye on the Premier League today as well, by the way, or actually, I'll run through some of the scores today as well. So, in the Premier League, for the games that went on because of the weather, which has been horrendous, it was Motherwell 3, Dundee 3. What a game that was. And Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1. It wasn't a great game. I'm going to be honest, it wasn't a great performance from Hearts, but they've got 3 points. In the Championship today, just let me find the scores here. There was only 2 games in the Championship today, and it finished Inverness 1, Raith Rovers 2, and Partick Thistle 2, Airdrie 1. In League 1, there was only 1 game that went on, and it was Hamilton 5, Queen of the South 0. So a great result there for Hamilton. And in League 2, again, only 2 games survived the weather. It was Forfar 1, Stranraer 1, and Stenhousemuir 1, Bonnyrigg Rose 1. So a couple of decent games there. Tomorrow, there are 3 games in the Premier League. We've got St Johnstone against Celtic at 12 o'clock. And we've got 2 3 o'clock games, assuming they survive the weather, which I think they might. Hibs against Aberdeen at Easter Road and Rangers against St Mirren at Ibrox. Hearts now 3rd in the league after the win today. So St Mirren, just look at the league table here. If I'll get it up just now. So the league table currently looks like this. So Celtic are top on 36 points. Rangers are 2nd on 28 points. Hearts are 3rd on 23 points. St Mirren are 4th on 22 points. Hibs in 5th on 18 points. Dundee, who are having a really good season, actually. I'm sure Greg would agree with that. They're sitting on 18 points. Kilmarnock are 7th on 17 points. Motherwell are 8th on 14 points. Ross County are also 9th on 14 points. Aberdeen 10th on 13 points. St Johnstone in 11th on 11 points. And Livingston propping up the table on 10 points. But obviously there'll be games to get played because of the snow. But everyone seems to be actually quite confident Scotland can get through this group. And I genuinely would agree with that. It's a great opportunity. Paul Donaldson says, don't know if you've seen any of the Hearts game today. Sounded like a very controversial incident with a possible red card for the keeper after an offside check by VAR. Loads of discussion about it. Oh, mate, didn't get me started. I was watching it. So, what happened is the ball gets played through to Yutaro Oda. Now, at that point, the referee, David Dickinson, no, not from Bargain Hunt, though he might well have been because he was useless, he hadn't actually whistled for the offside yet because he didn't see the flag. So the flag eventually does go up late, as they tend to do, but as Will Dennis is coming out and Oda's going through, he catches Oda quite high up. Now, it's reckless. It should have been a red card, and because the referee hasn't blown, then you can still get sent off for reckless play. Now, he actually books Will Dennis and doesn't send him off. The VAR check does carry on, and for some reason, they decide that it's not a red card. If you watch the highlights later on a sports scene, well, which there wasn't many, I'm not going to lie, he is reckless, it is late. For me, it's a red card. And yet again, the officials have completely ruined the game. Because if he gets sent off for that, I think it's a different game. I think Hearts would then control the game, control the tempo of the game, maybe get a few more chances. but he doesn't send him off. And that's now 4 incidents in the last few weeks that Hearts have not been, not had the right decision. We should have had 2 penalties against Motherwell, as Stephen would testify to. And we should have also had a penalty against St Johnstone last week. And then we don't get the red card today, which we should have got. So yeah, officials to me are just, they're getting worse. And I don't want to have a go at VAR again. Because again, it's a guy on a TV screen watching it, but it's a really poor decision. I heard discussion about it as well at half-time. And they were talking about the offside decision. It doesn't matter. The referee hasn't blown his whistle. So you can still get sent off for reckless play. It's a red card. And if anyone watches it again, you will see it's a reckless challenge and it should be a red card, but it doesn't get sent off. So it's one of these things, unfortunately. I'm getting sick of VAR. I'm getting sick of officials because they're getting worse. They are getting worse. And again, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to, because I'm on my own. Because he's wearing a Heart shirt, it's not sending off. If that's Celtic or Rangers, you can guarantee Will Dennison's getting sent off. That's the way it is. He's wearing the wrong colour shirt. But yeah, it was a red card. And if you watch it again, you'll see it's a red card from me. But just try to get some more comments as well about that draw today. Just try to see if I can find any more comments, because I think everyone's of the same opinion as me and everyone else that they think Scotland can get out of this group. And I genuinely do. I honestly think we can get out of the group. Let me just see any more comments here. Yeah, there's not really much else coming in, but so again, just to recap for anyone that's not seen it, and if you've not seen it, where have you been? So the draw for Euro 2024 has been made, and for anyone that's coming late and hasn't seen it, Scotland are in Group A. Scotland will be kicking off the Euros against the hosts, Germany. So Scotland's group is Germany, Hungary, Scotland and Switzerland. The other groups, I'll just go through them again for anyone that's not heard them. Group B, the group of death, Spain, Albania, Croatia and Italy. Group C, England, Denmark, Slovenia and Serbia. Group D, France, Austria, Holland, and the playoff winners of Group A, which could potentially be Wales, but I don't think it will be, if I'm being honest. Group E, Belgium, Romania, Slovakia, and the playoff winner from Group B. And then Group F, Portugal, Turkey, Czech Republic, and the playoff winner from Group C. So, Germany. Kicking off against Germany. I honestly can't wait for this. 14th of June. I think this is going to be very much like the World Cup. Now, I remember France 98 quite well because I was working at the time, and our manager basically let all the folk that wanted to watch it go home early. So I ran home, didn't have to run far, thankfully, to watch the game. And it was just, the atmosphere was amazing. You know, all through work, all we're talking about while we were working was the Scotland game, you know, kicking off against Brazil. And it was great. And I think this will be exactly the same thing. You know, to have that opening game against the hosts, I can't wait for it. Actually, what day is it? Because I'll probably be working. Let me just check what day that is. So it will be... It's a Friday. So it's a Friday kickoff. So I'll be hopefully working from home. I can finish early. But yeah, it's so exciting. Like I said to Hazel earlier on, we're sitting here looking at the Euro 2024 draw, and Scotland are in it. It's so exciting. You know, to be in this draw was brilliant. And now to have the opening game against the host nation, I'm buzzing for it. I cannot wait. Friday, 8 p.m. Well, that means I don't have to take time off work. Woohoo! I've even got my Scotland. Look what I've got on. I've got my Yes Sir I Can Boogie top on. You've got to get us one of these jumpers, by the way, folks, because it's brilliant. Love this jumper. I'm waiting to get myself a tartan bonnet because I'm freezing. I'm not going to lie. But honestly, it does bring back those 1998 vibes, and what an occasion it's going to be. I don't know if we've got any thoughts from any of the Scotland camp. Have they managed to talk to any of the players or anything like that? Let me just double check so I can try and see some comments. I'm going to be honest, lads. I'm sitting in my conservatory and I'm freezing. It is really cold in here. Well, I think the pundits on Sportsland are quite happy with the draw as well. Tom English said it's a dream draw. Opening game against the host nation. It doesn't get much better than that. I have to say I agree with that. I genuinely agree with that. Gregor McIntosh says that hoodie is class. It's great, mate. Honestly, I love it. I would wear this all the time if I could, but I need to wash it at some point. I would sleep in it. It's amazing. I love it. And no, I'm not going to sing Yes Sir I Can Boogie. I'll wait till the actual Euros happens before I do that. But yeah, everyone seems to be really happy with the draw. It's not the worst draw we could have got. Like I say, looking at other games, you know, Hazel said earlier on that she didn't want England. And I kind of get that, you know, the whole Battle of Britain stuff. But like I say, you take Bellingham out of the England side, I don't think they're that good a side. I think they're very average. And again, the pressure will be on them to do well in this competition. But yeah, it's honestly, for me, it's an absolutely fantastic draw. I genuinely can't wait for it. I think, let me just check. I just want to check because I'm pretty sure that I know some of the Hungary players. Just let me just double check. Hungary national team. I want to check where Hungary. So Hungary are ranked 36th in the FIFA rankings. So they're not a bad side, but I honestly think it's a side that Scotland can beat. I genuinely do. You know, like I said, I've talked about Szoboszlai, who's a really good player, but they do have some decent players in their team. I'm just trying to find out other players they've got because I do know some of them. Who do I recognise here? Yeah, I'm trying to see some of the names. Draw. And I think if Scotland can start off really well, if Scotland can get a decent result in that opening game against Germany, then I think we've got every chance of getting through this group. I really do. But, you know, as people have said, it's Scotland. You know, we know what could happen. We could fall flat on our face. If you look at the, you know, Euro 90, World Cup 90, that didn't go very well. You know, beat by Costa Rica in the opening game, and it just kind of went downhill from there. We did beat Sweden 2-1 in that group, though. But, you know, it's a draw that I think Scotland can be really reasonably pleased about. You know, like I said, I wouldn't want that Group A. That Group B is horrendous. I'm glad we didn't get that. But what a chance we've got to get out of the group. And what an occasion that would be. And it's kind of like I said to Michael the last time we were on as well. You want to kind of get into the Euros is great, but you want to then try and go that little bit further and try and get out the group. That's the next stage. And this group, I think, gives us a chance to do that. I genuinely believe that. I don't know what you guys think in the chat. If you think we've got a chance to get out the group, let me know. But I think we've got a chance to get out this group. And again, I can't obviously rule out Switzerland as well, because Switzerland are a good side. They are a very good side. They're going to cause us problems. I don't think, again, they're not the quickest going forward. And I think they can be got at defensively. But what a chance we've got. I think Switzerland look at that and go, Scotland are a good side. We've got, you know, this could be a tough game for us, and we've got to make it difficult. Now, again, Hazel mentioned earlier on the fact that there's 23 players on that plane. I think most of the players picked themselves on that plane for me. I think if you look at the goalkeepers, I think we'll probably take 3. It'll be Angus Gunn. I would imagine Craig Gordon, because he's back fit. And then there's one other. It's a tough one because Zander Clark, Liam Kelly, potentially Ross Laidlaw. I don't know if you would take him because he's not really had many chances for Scotland. But again, we've got a long time before the Euros. So maybe that's an opportunity for him. But I think that's probably the 3 I would take. Probably Zander Clark, Craig Gordon, and Angus Gunn. Defence, I think, picks itself, to be honest. There's not a lot of changes they're making there. Midfield, again, not a lot of changes they're making there, but it's up front. It's that forward area that I've always said is the problem, because you've got Lyndon Dykes and Che Adams will definitely go. For me, Shanklin's got to be on that plane. It has to be. But again, I think it depends on fitness. It depends on form. And I honestly think as well, and I hate saying this because I think I said this a couple of days as well to Michael and stuff as well. My worry is January, because my fear is that if an offer comes in for Shankland in January by Rangers, for example, would we accept it? That's my worry. It depends how much it is. If it's 5 million or more, I don't think we turn that down. So Shankland could be wearing a Rangers strip by the time the Euros comes around, and he's definitely on that plane. But yeah, it's a difficult one for the striker area. You've also got Kevin Nisbet, who scored for Millwall the other night. So he's starting to score goals as well. So it's a problem area, it always has been. But you're looking at Euros next year and you're thinking, well, probably you look at that first game against Germany, you're probably going to start with Lyndon Dykes up front, I'd imagine. But again, we're a long way off from that because injuries could cause a problem. So that's a difficult one. But I think how we line up against Germany, I don't think there'll be a lot of changes in the team we played recently. I think we'll stick with the three at the back. I genuinely do. But what a chance we've got. What a chance we've got to get through this group. And I'm honestly buzzing for it. I cannot wait. And by the time the 14th of June comes, we'll all be buzzing. And this is the thing. When the last Euros was on in 2020 for the COVID period, and I said this to Michael as well, where I stay in Pennycook, I would walk to Tesco's and I would see flags outside houses. I would see scarves in cars. It was amazing to be part of. We had our flag out as well for the Scotland games, and it was great. It was a sense of unity, and I think we'll get exactly the same thing now for the Euros. It's going to be fantastic to be part of. I'd love to go. I would love to be in Germany. I'd love to take the locker room to Germany. It would be amazing, but that's not going to happen. But what an occasion it's going to be. You know, for all these Scotland fans that are going to be going to the Euros, it'll be fantastic. The atmosphere will be amazing. Hopefully, I will get Regan on this. Honestly, the atmosphere is going to be absolutely incredible. And I'm delighted to be joined by my colleague, Regan Stevenson. Regan, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Graham. Sorry, I'm not feeling the best, but I just thought I'd pop on and say hello to you. What a draw, bro. What
do you think of it, mate? What do you think of that draw?
Well, Graham, what a draw, mate. Yesterday I actually booked flights I booked a hotel, Graham, to Frankfurt, and luckily I chose the 17th to the 24th, so I'll get to see two games out there in the fan park. So, no, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, what a draw. I mean, Switzerland, I mean, I know they're a good team and they've proven they're a good team. They've got some good players, but I think if you're looking at that pot four, you're going to go Italy from that and Georgia as well. So I'm pretty happy with that, Graham. And when you look at the group of death, Spain, Italy and Croatia, that really is a group to savour.
Yeah, I said that. I'm glad we're not in that group. And the fact as well, Regan, that Scotland are going to kick off the Euros. I mean, how good is that? Scotland-Germany first game. That's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be amazing. Sadly, I'm heading out on the 17th, so I'll not be out for then. But yeah, I'll be watching it somewhere, and it'll be just an amazing atmosphere, man. I mean, Germany, I mean, the famous Tartan Army were off to Germany. I mean, absolutely brilliant, Graham. I really is. I'm really over the moon. And I'm over the moon especially, Graham, because I was listening to the radio there, and I think it was Kenny McIntyre that said that third place can possibly go through as well, which is a great incentive for the boys as well, because a great thing that is great for the country, Graham, is that, like, a Scotland team's never made it out the group stage, so I think Steve Clarke could be the first man to make history. I really do. I feel like this squad of players have really got something to buy into, and I really hope that the players can just not knuckle down, especially when you've got that. When you look at the two fixtures after Germany, Switzerland we play, and then we play Switzerland, and then Hungary. Now, I think as well, Graham, I think every single team in this group will take points off each other, which then helps us. So if we can see if we can get 3 points in that game against Switzerland on the 19th, we've got a great chance to come out of that group. I think if we get 3 points against Switzerland, we're qualified because I think everybody in this group will take points off each other.
Well, the top 2 teams go through, and then it's 4 of the third best placed teams. I think we've got a great chance, mate. I really do. I think we've got a great chance to qualify for that group.
Especially, like I say, because of the nature of that, all of these teams could beat each other. I mean, look at Scotland's recent record. We played Denmark, we beat them. We played Georgia, we beat them. We played Spain, we beat them. We drew with Norway. Steve Clarke's brought in some notable results, and this is a squad now that you can just see growing and growing. And like, I don't know if you get coefficient points for a European Championships. You'll know better than me, but I really feel like we're really building something here. The one thing I would say, I'll be interested to see the squad. I was glad to see McBurney get his red card today because that just looks like he's not going to be in the squad. Honestly, Graham, I think you'd be better than the guy up front. You know what I mean? So no, I just hope that we take the squad that is good enough. I hope Shankland is in that squad as well, and I hope we actually take Harvey Barnes, Graham, because he seems to be a good player at Newcastle, and obviously Nisbet as well. I would take Nisbet.
That's the thing as well, because kind of talking to Hazel about this at the start of the show as well. I mean, you could potentially, I don't know if this will happen or not, but you could potentially have Harvey Barnes and Anthony Gordon. I mean, how would you feel if you're a Scotland player not getting selected instead of 2 guys haven't played yet?
I think you'd be absolutely gutted, but I can tell you right now who can miss out for these 2, and for me it's got to be Jacob Brown and Stuart Armstrong, because I think when you look at Jacob Brown, he's not really done much in a Scotland shirt, and then he gets the opportunity against Norway, and I thought he was pretty bad that match, Graham. He didn't really hold the ball up too well. I know Stuart Armstrong set up the goal for Shankland in the 2-2 draw against Georgia, but Graham, I think his application's not that great, tracking back and stuff, and I think Steve Clarke would also give his loyalty to players like Kelly McLean and Ryan Christie, who have scored very important goals for him and done very good shifts. So I think if we're to bring in Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes, I think the ones to miss out would probably be Jacob Brown and Stuart Armstrong.
Well, Steve Clarke has spoken, and he says, first of all, it's nice to have clarity. Now we can start preparing. It's good. You know what you're up against. It'll be nice to open the tournament. Hopefully we can open the tournament with a good match. It's important to focus on the match and not the occasion. It's a good group, to evenly balanced group. We look forward to it. The homework starts now. I can start watching the videos of matches. I look forward to next year. To be competitive in every match, that's our aim. Germany better be ready for a lot of Scots coming. And the thing is, something that you mentioned there as well, actually, Regan, which I think is the right thing to say as well. It's important to play the game and not the tournament. I think that's a great point to make.
Yeah, I think it is, Graham. And I think now that we're in this group, I think there's more confidence about the team. I mean, see if you're a Scotland player and you've got that group, I think you're really happy. You go, right, we can actually finish second in this group. And think about Germany. I looked at their last 2 results, Graham, and they've lost the last 2 games. I know they're going through a bit of a crisis. They had Hansi Flick, who won the German league with Bayern Munich last year, but he got beat off Japan in a friendly, and then the Germans didn't want him. So when you look at that, they've got Nagelsmann as a new manager, and that'll be his first game in charge. The first competitive game in charge will be that game against Scotland, and I'm just hoping that the players will still be getting used to the manager's message, and we can somehow just Scott McTominay double 2-1, Graham, and we're going to be singing and dancing in the streets of Germany, and I'll be heading off to the 17th of June.
Well, SFA Chief Executive Ian Maxwell says, fantastic. Absolutely delighted to be involved in the first game. A lot of Scotland fans have fond memories of being the opening game of France 1908. The way my phone's buzzing, there's a lot of people wanting tickets. I imagine there's websites crashing now. That's the joy that the tournament brings. It's great to see. I think the 4 teams in the group will be thinking they all have a chance. I didn't see a group of death, which is what you want. I disagree because Group B looks horrendous. It's all about preparation. We'll have to get a base camp organised. We'll be working hard on that. The travelling will be what it will be. Everyone's looking forward to it. We're delighted to be here and be in the group, and we'll see where it takes us. And again, I mean, I think you mentioned it there, Regan, and he said it as well. I think all the teams in that group will think we've got a chance to qualify, and Scotland have to be in with a chance here because I genuinely don't think Germany, as the hosts, are that good a side. I think Hungary have a couple of decent players in the team. I've mentioned him earlier, Szoboszlai for Liverpool. Switzerland, yes, they can cause problems, but Scotland have already beaten Spain. We've beaten Denmark in a friendly. We can compete. So Scotland have got a chance to get through this group. There's no reason we can't go there with full optimism and get out that group.
Yeah, I think you look at Switzerland's best players, probably the best days are behind them. You look at some of the Shaqiri, Xhaka. Yeah, so I think they're a team that we can get at and a team that we definitely shouldn't fear. And I'm feeling very confident, Graham. I really am. I don't know why. I've not even touched a beer. I'm not feeling good. So, but yeah, I'm feeling as if Scotland can do well in this Euros. And I mean, did anyone think Greece could win it in 2004? That's all I'm going to say here.
I don't know if I fancy Scotland win it, but you never know. I mean, honestly, see that Group B though. That's, I think you mentioned it earlier. That is a really, really difficult group, and I'm glad we're not in that one.
It's a bit of a really hard group because you actually look at it and you say to yourself, "My God, Italy." But it's probably down to their own doing because Italy's not been good, and they've not been good since they beat England in the Euros final. They've been terrible. They've just appointed Spalletti from Napoli, so they're in a bit of a transition period. In terms of the Euros, I think they'll be a danger, but I don't think it's quite sad to say it, Graham. But I think probably the favourites are England to win the Euros because they've got every position. They're people of quality, but I think closely behind them you've got France, you've got Belgium probably. I'm going to say I've got a wee sneaky suspicion that maybe someone like if they get through, but I can just see Portugal having a wee sneaky good tournament as well because they've got people like Bernardo Silva, Jota at Liverpool, and then Jota at Celtic. And you've got Luau, who plays with AC Milan. You've got quite a lot of good talent there. So for me, it's between England, Portugal, Italy, and probably France.
If we look at the group that Portugal are in, actually, they're in Group F. They've got Turkey, Portugal, Czech Republic, and then playoff winner B, which includes Georgia, Greece, Kazakhstan, and Luxembourg. You've got to be expecting Portugal at the top of that group with the players they've got.
Yeah, you would, but as we know, Graham, football's no simple as played in paper. Because if it was played in paper, I would have Scotland winning the Euros every day of the week. But I think the interesting thing for Portugal is every international team seems to go through a bit of transition at the moment, and they've just appointed Roberto Martinez as a new manager. So I think it'll be interesting. I think he got a third place finish at the Euros before, so he'll be hoping that he can work his magic on this Portuguese side. But yeah, I quite fancy Portugal to do well this tournament.
You mentioned England, they're in Group C. They've got Denmark, Slovenia, and Serbia. I mean, again, it's quite a comfortable group for England. Probably the hardest game there is Denmark. You know, Denmark gave them a really good game at the last Euros. So, but again, you've got to expect. But I said earlier on, actually, Regan, I genuinely think England are a very average team without Bellingham. For me, he's their superstar. Without him, I don't think they're that good a side. I don't know if Reagan's still there, eh?
I think they are a good side, Graham, but I think they're being held back by their manager Gareth Southgate. I think even though he's got them to a final and semi-final, and obviously the round of 16 in the recent Qatar World Cup, what I would say on Southgate, if you watch the last couple of games, I feel like he's really got the handbrake on them. You know, and that's something that I heard on another radio station that like a week ago they were talking about like if Pep Guardiola was in charge of this group, they would probably be winning things, which I tend to agree with because if you look at that game against Italy, England are 1-0 up and cruising in that game. The game against Croatia, they go 1-0 up and then they start to play negatively. Jose Mourinho, Conte kind of tactics sit back and soak up pressure, and then it cost them in the end up. But I think I don't see England winning it, but I think they are probably the favourites for me because of the outstanding quality of Jude Bellingham. I just think Jude Bellingham is honestly I'm still hoping he's got a Scottish granny, but he's probably not. So no.
The other two groups, Reagan, Group D, Holland, France, Austria, and playoff winner A, which includes Poland, Wales, Finland, and Estonia. I mean, if you're Wales and you were to get through that, that is a horrible group with Holland, France, and Austria.
That is yes, I agree with you because I expect France and Holland to already written themselves in the last 16, to be honest, because they are two superpowers of international football, and it's it's one of the things, Graham, where you need to ask yourself, if you're Wales, hopefully you're kind of banking on the guys having an off day, and then you sneak the third place because that's something that you'd expect as France and Holland to be 1 and 2.
The final group, Group E, is Belgium, Slovakia, Romania, and playoff winner Group B, which is Israel, Bosnia, and Ukraine and Iceland. Again, I don't know about Belgium. I think they've got a lot of decent players. Obviously, De Bruyne is injured just now. I mean, could Belgium be a potential outside threat?
I don't think so, Graham. I just don't. Obviously, they that golden generation, I call them, and they had like the majority of the Spurs team, like Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Moussa Dembele, who's one of the best players I've ever watched. They had a lot of good players for Marlon, Januzaj, and even Lukaku. But yeah. Sorry, Graham, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I feel like it is going to be interesting for them because when you see Belgium, you think they're going to be a top nation, but I just think they've got too many players that are past that golden generation, especially because I've not got Eden Hazard as well.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I forgot about him actually. He was a brilliant player in his day. But honestly, Reagan, it feels so good as a Scotland fan. Oh, Reagan's disappeared. But yeah, it just feels so good as a Scotland fan to be sitting here looking forward to a Euros draw, looking forward to a European competition, and the fact we're going to be opening it. It really, honestly, it's an amazing occasion. And I genuinely think as well that Scotland fans that obviously don't have tickets, I think we'll still travel just to be in there, just to be around that area. There'll be a fan park as well. You will watch the games on telly, and it'll be an amazing occasion. Now, I've never been to Germany, but I've heard that it's beautiful. And the places we're going as well, to places like Cologne and Stuttgart and that, it will be amazing. It really will be. And I think it's going to be an incredible tournament. I hope it's a good tournament. I hope VAR doesn't ruin it. But it's just exciting. And, like I said today again there, Steve Clarke's right. You've got to play the game and not the occasion, because I think at times maybe the occasion can get to us a little bit. But it's just so exciting for a Scotland fan to be looking forward to this Euros. I think we've got Regan back on. Regan, are you there?
Yep, I'm here, Graham. Yep.
I mean, I was saying to Hazel earlier on when she was on, I mean, how good does it feel as a Scotland fan to have a European Championships to look forward to? I know it's not till next year, but how exciting does it feel?
It feels amazing, Graham, because I was saying this to my friends the night as well, that the next couple of international games is going to be Saudi Arabia 2030, and then Paraguay in the USA in 2034. So we've got a lot of times where we're not going to probably get to these tournaments because it's too far away. But Germany's that close that we can go to, we can experience it. So no, it's amazing.
I mean, I know that there will be a lot of clamour for tickets, but like I said before you came back on there, I think a lot of Scotland fans will still go to Germany because you'll have the fan park and stuff. You want to sample the atmosphere. Even if you can't get a ticket, you want to be there. And the place are going to be playing, like I said, Cologne, Stuttgart. I mean, these places are going to be absolutely amazing to visit.
Yeah, Graham, I don't even know how to get a ticket. I need to ask Stephen how he got his, but yeah, I mean, it's just going to be amazing. I would love to be there and be at the games, but I'm really not sure how to exit them. So no, it's going to be amazing. I'm going to be there from the 17th to the 24th. I'm going to buy myself a kilt, Graham. I've never bought a kilt yet, so.
Mate, buy a hoodie. I've got a Yes Sir I Can Boogie hoodie I'm wearing. It's amazing. I love it.
Are you going to try and take the wee boy to Germany, Graham? Or?
Honestly, mate, I wish I could. I don't think I'd get a ticket for love nor money. I would love to go. I would love to do a locker room show from Germany, but that probably won't happen. But I'd love to go. I
know it'd be amazing, Graham. I really would. Well, I tell you something, Graham. See if we don't go for the. See if you're at home for the 15th. If you're at home for the 15th of June, we'll definitely meet up, mate. We'll. Honestly, I'm seeing this live whenever we'll definitely meet up. Everybody who's on the locker room that's here, we can definitely meet up, mate, because it'd be a great occasion to meet.
It will be. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier on, for anyone that came on later, there were 2 games in the Premier League today. It finished Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1, and Motherwell 3, Dundee 3. What a game that was at Fir Park. But Regan, 4 wins in a row in the league for Hearts. Now, I watched the game. It wasn't a particularly great game from Hearts. Hearts didn't play well, but there was, as Paul Donaldson mentioned earlier on, and I spoke about this as well, there was a very controversial incident during the first half when Oda was going through, but the flag went up eventually for offside. But Will Dennis catches him. He's very high. He's very late. He gets the yellow card. Now, I put on Twitter earlier on, that's a red card all day long for me, but he didn't get a red card for it.
Yeah, it's a strange one. You know, the referees will just say it's inconsistency, but it's one of these ones where I think it's a red card too, Graham. And I think it's about time that they start punishing these things. I mean, you seen it last week. Rangers got a penalty with grappling in the box. Well, I think I think that one today is more of a clear and obvious error than the Rangers pulling their jersey.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a ridiculous decision. If you're booking him, you've got to send him off because yes, it's reckless. I know he's offside. But the referee hadn't blown the whistle before that. So it means that it's still reckless play. I just cannot understand how that's not given as a red card. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. But like you said, Graham, Hearts off to a flying start under Naismith for 4 wins in a row now. You must be happy. I mean, I don't think they created much apart from the goal, Graham, but tell you something, Kilmarnock's a difficult place to go now.
Well, that's us beating them in the Viaplay Cup and now beating them today in the league as well. And performance wasn't great, but we're now 3rd in the league. And the thing, what I think Naismith's done is we look a lot more solid defensively, but we're not really, I think you mentioned today, we're not really creating a lot and we're not, I mean, even the goal we scored wasn't a shot on target. It was good play by Shanklin, but it's a really bad mistake from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's awful. I thought he had a really bad game. I don't know what you felt as well, but I thought Matty Kennedy had a really bad game. I know he came on in the second half, and every time he put the ball in, it went out. There was one time where he tried to put the ball in about 8 minutes to go, and I think Derry McInnes just let that one. I don't know what you're playing at today, mate. I mean, it's if it was if it was, it was if he was playing a different game from everybody else. Um, yeah, but I think it's pressure off for Naismith. But I want to get your thoughts on this game because I think this has been the worst standard of the league so far this season that I've seen in many a years. You know, I watched that game today and I just felt there was so much lack in quality. And if that's our third best team at the moment, I think we're struggling because um, I like the Hearts. The last couple of games, they've struggled to beat. They struggled to beat. They beat. I think it was they beat St Johnstone 1-0. They beat Livingston 1-0. And you'll probably know better than me, Graham. But I don't think the results have been that convincing.
No, there's not. I mean, I think the performance against Livingston were dominant, but then Livingston, I don't think I've seen a worse team than them come to Tynecastle. They were so defensive. I couldn't understand what Mark Day was trying to do. The St Johnstone game, I mean, we huffed and puffed and eventually got the goal, but its performances have not been overly impressive, but we are getting results, which is fine. But the worry for me now is our next three games are Rangers on Wednesday at Tynecastle, and our record against them is horrible. We've got Aberdeen away next week, and then we've got Celtic after that. These next three games are really tough, and while we've defended well in the last three games, I'm worried about these next three because I can't see where we're going to create chances from. Because again, today I thought we were quite flat. I mean, Shankland obviously does well for the goal, but we're not creating a lot. And I said I kind of put in the chat yesterday to Michael and Stephen that you've got to get the balance right between being good defensively but creating chances going forward, and I don't think Hearts are doing that, to be honest. So, it's a worry for me that we're not creating a lot of chances, but we're winning games. And I suppose that's the main thing as well, isn't it? You just want to win games. But I thought, I didn't think, I thought Kilmarnock had a couple of decent chances today, but again, Zander Clark didn't have a lot of saves to make, but 3 points for me is all that matters. But yeah, difficult games to come for Hearts.
No, it definitely is, Graham. I think in terms of these three games you mentioned there, Rangers, Celtic, and Aberdeen, I think if you come up with any kind of 7 points from down at those fixtures, then you have to say you are genuine third place finishers. Because for me, like you said, I probably do expect 3 defeats. Because, like you said, your record against Rangers is not the best. And then you go up to Aberdeen, which you've probably not got the best record up there either. And then you're going to Celtic, the champions of Scotland, who always play well at home. And going by Robbie Nielsen's pass of last season, because that's all I can go on, it was a kind of sit back and soak it up and hope for the best. So if you go and do that against Celtic away from home, then Celtic will pick you apart. So I think this Rangers one's going to be interesting though, because if you're a Hearts player at the moment, and if I was looking at the table, so if Hearts win this game, there'll be 3 points off Rangers. Is that correct, Graham? I think it is.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
So if you're a Hearts player in that dressing room right now, you go, right, we're not winning these games with flowing football with regularity. What we are doing is actually putting a good run of results together. But it was only a few weeks ago where I was coming on the show, you were coming on the show saying Stephen Naismith's job's on the line if he doesn't get a result against Motherwell. He manages to get a 2-1 win against Motherwell. Shankland scored 2 and then Motherwell got a late goal. So it just shows you how quickly football can change. I don't think much has changed over the past few weeks with Naismith, even though the pressure will come off. I don't think much has changed because the football to me is no good enough. You watch the games, as much as Hearts are winning, if you're watching that as a fan and you're paying the money, the football's no great, Graham. I don't know what you think, but they're not creating much. They're not getting me off my seat going, that's brilliant to watch.
No, I completely agree. It's not great to watch. You know, it has been very, very poor. But we all know it's a results business. If you get results, then fair enough. But I would like to see us being a bit more purposeful going forward, a bit more aggressive. We didn't really do that today. And I think if you're Derek McInnes, you're disappointed you've not taken anything out of that game because they had a lot of pressure, but they couldn't score. And again, their biggest threat for me was Danny Armstrong. He was really impressive for me.
Yeah, he had one ball in the second half where he put the ball across and no one was there. I don't know if you remember it, but he put a ball across and just nobody was there to tap it in. It was like a free. If anyone was there and Kennedy, it was a definite goal. It was a great ball he put in.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Regan, what a game at Fir Park, though. Motherwell 3, Dundee 3, but it's another game that Motherwell have failed to win at home. Now, they were 3-2 down and managed to get a goal in the last minute, but again, it's a bit worrying for Motherwell that they just can't seem to get a win just now.
Yeah, Graham, but I tell you why that is, because they've not got somebody like Van Veen that can put the ball in the net. I said this last week on radio that I don't want Stuart Kettlewell to lose his job because I think the guy's a great manager. I really do. I just think that he's going through a tough spell where, see when you look at last season, Graham, Motherwell were winning 3-2, 2-1 because of who? Because of Van Veen. Right now, they've not got a goal scorer who can score them goals. Right now, they're feeding off scraps. But the one disappointing thing for me was, and I'm sure for Stuart Kettlewell as well, was it was as if the players were just giving too much respect to Dundee. I watched a bit of that game today when I was getting bored of the Hearts game, and the Motherwell players really gave Dundee too much respect. They were letting Dundee have the ball, and but what I would say on Dundee is what a great start from Tony Docherty. His first job in football, and he's taking to it like a dog to war, Graham, because he's I think it's like 7 points away from the bottom of the table. I think if you'd offered that to a Dundee fan before the start of the season, they would have bent your hand off for that.
No, you're right. I think Tony Dockerty's done a great job, and I've watched them a few times, and they do look very impressive. I've said before, I think Luke McCowan's a really good player, and I honestly think Owen Beck, for me, has been outstanding. He scored again today. He's a really good player. He really is. And I think Dundee, I mean, could they finish top 6? Is that a bit of a stretch? Do you think they could actually get top 6?
No, I don't think so. Just simply because of Hearts doing okay now, 4 wins on the spin. Hibs doing okay now under the Australian prodigal son Montgomery. Then you've got St Mirren, who we've got loads of St Mirren fans who watch this show, so I think they're doing well, and I think Aberdeen have shown that they're a really good team on their day. On current form, you would probably say I still expect that to be a top 6, but it's often in Scottish football that we see a twist and turn, and I wouldn't rule it out because, like I said, I don't think the standard's been up to great this season so far, which has been disappointing.
Yeah, there's, weather permitting, there's 3 games tomorrow. We've got St Johnstone against Celtic, Hibs against Aberdeen, and Rangers against St Mirren. How do you see those games going, Regan?
I would just go to ask you, Graham, do you think the games will go ahead? Do you think they'll...
I mean, there's, at the moment, I don't think there's any sense of a pitch inspection. I think Edinburgh was fine. My mum lives in Edinburgh, so I think the Hibs game will probably be all right. I'd imagine under soil heating for Rangers game should be all right. But actually, see, before that, Regan, I just want to touch on this as well. And I know that our colleague Laurie is a Kilmarnock fan, but I just want to say as well, today in that first half, Liam Boyce goes off injured.
Yes.
With that plastic pitch. Honestly, mate, that plastic pitch is doing my head in.
Yeah, I mean, I put a comment in the WhatsApp chat last night saying that the so much good for the plastic pitches that the Livingston game was called off today that the all-weather pitches, as they called them years ago. But yeah, they're just proving again that the players are picking up too many injuries on it. I would scrap them, and I'm glad that Kilmarnock's scrapping it from 2025 because we need to let it go. We need to let it go.
Yeah, Gregor said Dundee will win twice, but you know what? Away from home, it's not a bad result away at Motherwell. But yeah, I mean, those games tomorrow, are you confident with Celtic's form just now that they'll go McDermott Park against a very tough Craig Levein side and pick up 3 points?
I would have been confident if Stephen McLean was the manager, but I think Craig Levein doesn't get much credit. Scottish football at the moment, but I think what you can say about Craig Levein is he's been around the block and he's a decent manager. I think it'll be a hard game, but it's a game that I expect Celtic to see the 3 points in.
Paul Donaldson says, hopefully Barry Robson's squad rotation against Helsinki means we don't have the usual Euro hangover on the Sunday after a Thursday. That's a fair point, to be fair. They did make a lot of changes against Helsinki, which I think entitled to do. They were out of Europe. But going into a game against Hibs at Easter Road, that's a big game for both those teams.
Yeah, and I tell you something, Graham. The Aberdeen and St Johnstone and Hibs groundsmen should invest in a tractor because that worked on Thursday night. You know, the tractor getting all the snow off the park, and then they got another tractor, then they got another tractor. I mean, it was great to see. I mean, think about all the poor guys at Hampden try to get off the rain for the Georgia game. We could have just got a tractor out there.
It was entertaining, especially when Aberdeen fans started chucking snowballs on the pitch. That was quite funny. But I mean, yeah, I think for me, just going back to that St Johnstone Celtic game, St Johnstone would have taken a point of Celtic at Celtic Park. The way that Craig Levein will set his team up, he'll be setting up to defend very deep. And it's then up to Celtic to break them down. And I mean, let's be honest, Reagan, Celtic haven't been at their best so far this season, I don't think.
No, they haven't. I think that just shows you how poor the standard's been so far. But yeah, it's fair play to Brendan Rodgers. He's come in, he's got them to where they're 8 points clear at the moment. Hopefully by tomorrow they'll be 10 points clear because hopefully St Mirren will do a wee turn in Glasgow. But yeah, I think Celtic will get the job done. But yeah, like you said, I think St Johnstone will be a difficult test.
The last game, Rangers against St Mirren. Again, I don't know what to expect for Rangers this season. I think at times they've looked all right against Limassol on Thursday. They probably should have won the game. St Mirren will go there knowing that if they can win, they'll go back third. It's a tough game, I think, for Rangers tomorrow.
It's a tough game, but it's a game that if Rangers want to have any chance of putting a charge to the title, then it's a game they need to win. And it's a game where they'll have the majority of the possession because St Mirren will surrender the possession. They'll sit in, as a good friend Michael would say, park a bus or two.
Park 10 buses.
And they'll be hoping that Barkas or Mark O'Hara or someone like that will pop up with a goal. But one thing that I want to touch on from Thursday night was I thought the crowd was quite vitriol, so I think the crowd will be up for it. I think the Rangers players will be scared to let that crowd down, so they want to impress the crowd, they want to show them, and I think they'll probably put on a show for them tomorrow.
Paul Donaldson says, have you ever seen the Simpsons episode where Homer is Mr. Plough? I used to love the Simpsons when I was younger. I think they still show that at times on one of the channels. I can't remember what it is, but yeah.
They do, Channel 4.
Yeah, honestly, I used to love the Simpsons, Bart especially. But yeah, 3 difficult games tomorrow, but we are just about out of time. But again, just to clarify as well, for anyone that hasn't seen it yet, I'm sure you have by now, but Scotland are in Group A against Germany, Hungary, and Switzerland, and Scotland will be kicking off Euro 2024. And I think, Reagan, it's fair to say that pretty much all the Scotland fans are pretty excited by that.
Viva Deutschland!
Indeed.
I cannot wait. I'll be in Germany for the 17th. Anyone that's there, I'll buy you a pint. Don't come up and say you watched this program, so owe you a pint because I'll I'll forget it by then. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it, and I just hope that Scotland can put on the performance to make us all happy, because I think this could be the first Scotland squad that gets us out of the group and into the last 16. Come on, Scotland. Come on, Italian Army.
Come on, Scotland. That is the end of a very busy show today. It's been a really exciting show, as I knew it would be. Thank you to all the comments. Thank you to Reagan for coming on. Thank you earlier on to Hazel for coming on and joining me as well to build up to the draw. We are back next Friday. There's no show tomorrow because we've got I've got a lot to do and Michael's not available either. But we are back next Friday at the normal time of 5 till 7. And we shall see you all again next week. Have a great end to the weekend. Bye-bye.